Hey, hey, crypto family. This is Nemesis. I'm with the Crypto Brothers. And well, today I got a couple of things that I wanted to go over. One was, well, I've got another episode of What's in the Box, of course. It's another E3 antminer. Always got to sit there and kind of check them out, make sure they weren't damaged during shipping. I got a little rant about this one. This one is pretty. This one pisses me off. Oh my god, it pisses me off. But on another note, like in the last one, I have my new chair. Now, my other chair that I was using was this one. I've sat in this chair for like 10 years or so. Nice and hard as a rock. Yeah, my butt hurts from this chair. I decided to treat myself since I've actually got a little extra money, and I went shopping for it and found one for a decent price. It was on sale for like $110. I've got this. Oh my God, is this thing comfy? The whole seat, the back there leans back. It's got the rock feature underneath. It's got a little spring tensioner so that I can adjust how much it's going to rock on me. Adjustable lumbar support, which that thing already cracked my brother's back. Relican cracked his back pretty good. I heard that thing pop. Yeah, but it's a pretty good buy. I like this chair. I think this one's going to get some pretty good usage. Oh yeah, and the whole framing on it. I mean, you can't tell, but this is all steel tubing inside of here. So this should be actually the frame on this should actually outlast the leather as long as I don't, as with me taking care of everything the way I do. Yeah, the leather will end up fatiguing out more than likely, and I'll have to have my wife reskin it at some point maybe, if the frame holds up. With that being said, let's get into this. So, like I was saying before, I've got a little rant on this one. This here was the last duty tax that I had to pay on this antminer. This was from last month, just a month ago. Today, I get this thing in. You want to know what they charged me? They didn't charge Bitmain. The tariff tax that's supposed to go on to these outside companies to encourage them to come back into the United States and do business here. No, they didn't get taxed on this thing. I did. I paid $342 for this thing. What the heck is this shit? It's not cool. The United States government charging its own citizens to get things. And it's not like this is something that I can buy here in the United States ever. It was a company that started in another country. And I'm going to sit there and pay the piper because I want to do business with a company outside of the United States. Thank you, Congress. You've just charged another American citizens more money. And what are you going to do with it? Blow it on something that we don't need. Way to go, awesomeness. Prompted by all politicians with their hand out. Awesome. But, that's basically my rant. I mean, it's not cool that the United States government is basically sitting there charging me, basically penalizing me to conduct business outside of the United States. That's garbage. And it's going to start hitting all other facets of other businesses too. This just enacted at the beginning of the month, so yeah, probably in the next month or so, we're probably going to start watching other prices start going straight up to the moon. That's awesome. But like I said, it's E3 time. Let's see what's in the box. And let me transition to this camera, because this one is going to be the one that I want next. Awesome. So, like I was saying, my E3. Now I've gotten a few of these, and the first thing you want to do whenever you're getting something that's shipped from such a long distance is crack it open, make sure it's not damaged. And my man Brandon from Brandon Coin, he did ask me to kind of do a little bit more of a detailed review on this. So just for him, this is what I'm going to do today. So this is how they all come in. Nice foam paddings, real thick. This way, I mean, you could probably almost drop this thing. You're really not going to damage the E3 antminer inside of it. You'd have to like really abuse it to get it to damage it. They do come with like a little warranty guide. It doesn't really tell you really too much how to basically set this up. There's really no real instructions on how to set the antminer up itself. That one took a little trial and error on my part. And it's got some kind of Chinese version of product. I guess like somebody tested it. That's what I guess this is. I don't read this of what it really is. It gives a little bit of information on there. It's like an product is an E3, voltage, 12 volt DC, current rate. It wants 124 amp max. It's a server. Gives a few product numbers that I'm not really knowing about, and it's like got inspector number 1 did this. I don't know if it's going to see that very well. There we go. Inspector number 1, and it's got some kind of pass symbol on there. So, get this thing out of my way. And you can go over there, and this thing can come back on the camera. Let's see if I can get this thing back up. So, let's go ahead and take the foam off. Like I said, they come with some pretty good rugged foam on there. Both sides. They tape up the bubble wrap, anti-static wrap bag at the bottom. So it's easiest just to kind of push them out like this. And let me stand it up. But as you can see, there's no dust on the fans or anything like that. It's got that new smell to it. Oh yeah, I can smell that. It smells new. And then this is the exit port. And as you can see, everything is, I don't know how well it's going to show up, but it definitely is nice and shiny in there. You can see all 3 hashing boards. There isn't a lick of dust on them. Let me see if I get this over here. And this here, upper portion right here, is a controlling board. Yeah, this is the controlling board right here. It gives a little bit of information, a serial number, a submodel. Then it's got the 3 hashing boards where they connect in. And I do recommend getting, if you're going to go down this route, getting Bitmain's actual server power supply. This way you know everything is going to just work right out of the box. It's all going to be compatible with each other. Bitmain knows what their equipment's going to run with more effectively. There are mods out there that people do, not that I know of any with the E3s. I haven't wanted to really kind of mod mine at all. And then here is Bitmain's power supply. They never come into the same box. Even on their website, they even tell you that they'll ship the 2 separate. They'll ship like 10 or 20 power supplies in one box, but only one antminer to a box. That's just how they do it. So if you're ordering a bunch of them here, it's like almost cheaper to, yeah, it doesn't even make sense to even bulk order these at this point because of the way that the tariffs are now, which is just ridiculous. My God, $342 for just to get a package into the country. Highway robbery is what that is. I've been going on about this all day. I'm so angry. Oop, I probably should have just... And this is how their power supplies come in. They make sure that all the connectors are nice and tucked in there. I mean, not really much you can do with these. It's in, at least it's in a box. And again, it's got some of that really nice foam on there. Real good foam. And let's get this out. And again, this is their power supply, and there's no dust on this fan either. Oh, and these things do not come with power cables, so you will need to supply your own power cable while setting this up. So just remember, if you're gonna get one of these, to figure out if you're running 110 or 220, and getting the proper power cord for whichever you're running. And that's pretty much how these are. And then you don't want to hook up more than one antminer to one power supply. They have more connectors than you need here. Do not hook these up to another antminer. You'll probably do some damage. But what I end up doing is there's kind of like a couple of groupings, and I use these are like singles. So I usually pick one of these, hook it up to the main brain board up here, and then hook these up into here. They just click in. Not too there. It's pretty straightforward. I'm plugging this all in, and then making sure that you've got a proper airflow for it. You don't want to have the backside plugged up on it. You want to give it at least a foot away from anything. If it gets warm out and you're like air cooling it like I am, and it gets warm out, it'll take something that's probably about 5 or 6 feet away and get it to the same temperature as this. So if this thing is blowing out 150 degrees, then 10 feet back is going to be getting 150 degrees blown on it, and it'll start increasing the temperature of that. So you want to make sure you got some good airflow around this. These things do put off some good heat, but as long as you can keep your heat under control, you're going to have a good time. So then let me I don't have this one set up because I just got it, of course, and everything looks good. I did get one of these where the controller board, it was actually smashed right through here. It didn't do anything other than just a case. I've still got it hashing right now. I haven't had any issues with it, so it is what it is. I didn't want to send it back and not be mining with it. I mean, granted, I'm not going to be spending the electricity, so I mean, it's no loss, but it's no gain either. So let me go over to here and show a little of my setup of one of my antminers. So let me switch over to this screen, and let me bring this over here. All right, so now, perfect. I'm gonna get this out of the way. Awesome. So what we got here is the main screen. Now, whenever you boot one of these up the very first time, you'll have to go into your router and actually take a look at the router and see the IP, the local IP address whenever it pops up. Takes probably about 10 minutes. It does a little download. It does an update whenever you plug it in. It takes 10 minutes for it to kind of come alive. Once you once you've established the IP address, the local IP address, you can type that in, and it'll bring you up to a little password screen. From here, the password, the username on it's going to be root, and the password for the first time. Now you'll have to change this so that not everybody has access to your miner, and this pretty much goes for any of the antminers. They all come up with root and root. So you type those in, and it brings you up to this screen. Once you're on this screen, it gives you kind of some generic information. It tells you which antminer you're looking at. For this one, it's the E3. It shows you what model, GNU, Linux. It tells you which kernel version and when it was last updated. Then it shows you the system file version that it's on, the CG miner version that it's running with, and how many days it's been running without any downtime. And then here you get some load averages. Now this screen does not refresh itself, so if you're ever wanting to kind of see what it's doing, you can just come back in there, refresh it, and you'll notice that numbers change. If these numbers start hitting here, 1 or below 1, that means that you have some kind of failure going on, and I'll get to that one in a second. But for the miner configuration, you come up onto this screen. Now, this part of the screen does not tell you how to do any of this. So if you're trying to hook in with Bitmain on their actual pool, what you would end up doing is you would set up an account with Bitmain on their mining pool, and from there you'll be given a username, and you can make your own rig list. If you guys are wanting me to go over that, you can sit there and drop a post down below. If you're wanting me to go over that, I'll show you setup on all that. But what you would end up doing here is this is your pool address. So for this one, I'm mining to Nanopool. They are ASIC friendly up over there, ASIC and GPU friendly. So from here, the user is going to be, because I'm not doing it to Bitmain, the user will be the wallet address. And then, you guys went for a ride there. So you can come up over here, and then you'll see that here is where I have my dot and my rig list. My rig name, so I have this one just generically named. This way, if I ever have an issue with any of them, I know which rig went down immediately. I got them labeled in my mining room, and then I have them labeled on my rig list so that I know which ones that I'm looking at. Oop. Wrong button. And then after that, if you, depending on the miner pool, some of them will allow you to put up an email address, and then the pool will actually notify you if there's any issues with any of your rigs, which is kind of nice. And with the antminers, it gives you 3 defaults. So if you ever have a pool go down for whatever reason, it will default to the next pool immediately and start hashing. This way the antminer doesn't just sit there and constantly sounding like a vacuum cleaner going off. I mean, when this thing turns on, for the first 10 minutes, if you've got a girlfriend or a wife, she's going to hate you, This thing is louder than your vacuum cleaner going off. Holy cow. I mean, no joke. This thing is as loud as can be. But again, once you have it configured, it starts hashing as long as there's no problem like power outage or internet going down for whatever reason. You'll never have to worry about the miner restarting itself and um, basically going through its boot up phase for that 10 minutes of it going onto high mode with the fans, which is not cool at all. I mean, you're talking, you're really not gonna you're not gonna have fun with it. It's loud. If you're trying to have it in your room, it's loud when it restarts. When it does it out of the blue, it'll scare you. It's like, what the hell is that? But yeah, I mean, it did it to me once where the internet flickered on it for a brief moment. I don't know what it was, if it flickered, but three of the miners out of nowhere one of the days just started rebooting, and it was loud. It took me off guard. I was sitting here, it was nice and quiet. I'm sitting here reading about crypto, educating myself as usual, and these things go off like a freight train. Oh my God. But thank God I have them in the other room with the door closed, but it still gets you. But again, like I said, you set up your configurations for all three. For most pools, their password is X, except for Bitmain. So you'd put your wallet address here for Bitmain. You can put your username that you use with Bitmain here. And then for your password, now this one is where there's really no information on whatsoever. Your password is your rig name. People tell you that you can just leave it blank. It just the miner just looks at it as a dead port. So you have to tell it who the username is and then which worker it is. So it has to go address, your username, and then worker name for the password. And then she boots up just fine, starts hashing away like a monster. I only go on to the Bitmain pool whenever they have zero fees. I love it when it's a free mining pool, but their free mining pool is just ended. So of course now I'm up over here because Bitmain charges 3% on their mining pool, which is outrageous. It's just as outrageous as the United States government charging me $342 just to get a piece of hardware into the country, taxing me. God, I can rant and rave about this all day. And then after you get done with the miner configuration, you can go into the miner status and actually see what it's doing. Now from here, you can see that it's what it's currently hashing at, how many days it's been up and running. This one has been up for 7 days. Almost 8 days ago, we had a bunch of storms come through, knocked out power a couple of times on me. Of course, all my rigs started up, rebooted, blah, blah, blah. Some of them took a little bit for me to get them to come back on. They didn't like the idea of just being sporadically turned off. They were quite angry at me. So some of the stuff I'm not really 100%. I haven't found any blocks on. I don't know what the local work is. This has always been 0. I don't know what it is. The utility, I have no idea what this is pertaining to, but it's been 1.18 for a while. The YU 4052 has been what it is. It's never had a good share best share found hasn't done anything like that, at least not for me. Oh, I keep bumping the wire for this. And then this here is where you go and configure here. And when you come up over here, these are the configurations that you have put in place. So for me, this shows the status being alive. That means that the antminer has recognized the pool, has tested the port, and has reported back that these are good ports, so that if any time I have an issue, it's just going to automatically switch over. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to be here. It just does it. That's, I mean, there's some of the nicer things about the ASIC miners is that it's kind of, once you have them set up, almost plug and play. It's just getting past the initial setup. Once you know how to set them up, easy to do. So with that, so I don't know what the diff is. It just once it connected in, the diff has been 33. That's all it is. The get works is the amount of times that it's tried to get work from the network. I have to do more research to figure out exactly what the get works are, but I believe that it's whenever it actually is requesting work from the network itself. So it's got over 46,000 times that it's asked. It has 12,636 accepted shares, and that's been in the 7 days that it's been up and running. This is the difficulty average number, so this does change, goes up and down with the network difficulty. This number, the diff R number, I'm not really sure what that pertains to. I haven't really needed to look at that one at all. But the one that I do pay attention to is rejected shares. You're going to have a few rejected shares here and there. It's okay. You shouldn't see a high count. I mean, this has been up for a little over a week since my power outage, and it's only got 44 rejected shares. Some of the other ones are a little less. Some of them are at the same point as this. And then the LS diff, I'm not sure. It's been pretty much at 37. The LS time, I'm not sure what that is. I've never really paid attention to it, but what I do pay attention to is more down here. These are each of the chipsets on the 3 hashing boards. So these would be your hash rates on each one of your chipsets, and then this your PCB temperatures, and then your chip temperatures. You want to make sure that your PCB temperatures stay low. Your chip temps, you can let those go up a little higher. It's not so bad. But the PCB, you do not want to let this go up high. This will start causing the machine to start thermal throttling. I had a couple of 90-degree days. I have just fans in the windows. I basically have 6,000 CFMs worth of fans. My one window is probably letting in 4, maybe 5,000 CFMs. So with that calculation, I'm probably exchanging the air out right around 197 times an hour, according to the mathematics on it. So it keeps the machines relatively cool. Whenever I had the 92-degree days, the mining room itself, which is like right around 12,000 square feet, got up to about 98 degrees. And my fans went up to around 4,000 RPM. These things max out at 6,200. So as long as you're staying underneath that 80% threshold on the fan limitation, you're doing pretty good. So I always felt very comfortable. My chipsets never got up high. Now, if you ever wonder how you can tell if you're having an issue, now if you see the double zeros here, or the infinite loops symbol. These are the chip status. If whenever you go to first start the miner up, these turn into C's, so it's CC all the way up. And then whenever it does its first initial startup phase and it starts to connect in with the network, these turn into double B's for boot mode. I'm guessing. That's just a clear guess. I don't know. So after about 10 minutes, it should go into the double zeros. If it just loops back to CC and it starts to check out, like restart the miner basically, that means either your configuration did not accept and you need to re-look at your configuration, which means that either your mining address is wrong. These miners do not accept every mining address out there. Some of them, some of the mining pools, they have a port number and then they've got an M port number. Any of them that utilize an M port number, the miner will not be able to attach itself to it. That M port number is something a little on the more special side, so it needs to be just a single port number. That's why I'm able to configure onto Nanopool, is that this is their port number right here, the 19999. That some of them have like an 8008, and then it's got an M port number of like 333333, like 4 threes in a row. Those ones, the miner will not be able to attach itself to the pool. I was on ePool. The miner will not configure onto ePool because of the fact that it does use an M port number. It took me a little bit to understand why it wouldn't attach itself to the pool. Then I kind of played around with it, and this is what I've discovered, is that it's the M port number. So I can attach it to any mining pool that runs the eth-hash algorithm. Let me get into my nice comfy chair. Oh, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, it's so much better. So you want to, I mean, so like I was saying, like, where was I? So if your miner's not, connecting in, like I was saying, it's just you have to make sure that the pool that you're trying to attach to does not have an M port number. As long as it doesn't have an M port number, then you might have done something wrong in the configuration, whether you didn't copy and paste the address properly. Double check your miner, the passwords. Make sure your password's correct, and make sure most of the time, always double check it, but most of the time we're pretty good about making sure our wallet address is pretty good. We want to make sure that what we're mining is going into our wallet, but make sure that your configuration for the rig name is correct. Some of them need a dot, a period, and then rig name, no space. So if you put a space in there, you actually change the argument basically on the configuration, and that's part of basically coding. A period, a dollar sign, a backslash, a forward slash. These are different arguments inside of coding. So you got to make sure that you have the right symbols in there, and if they're not requiring a space in there, do not put a space in there. It won't register it properly because of that space. Same thing with the wallet address. If they want a special symbol in front of it, even if you're doing it to a GPU rig, you do not want to let it have a space if in the configuration bat file does not show a space. You change the argument whenever you start playing with it like that, and it will not configure to the pool properly. The same thing goes for the antminer. And then, of course, making sure that you have the password proper. that's of the foremost. It will not connect in if it doesn't know how to knock on the door and open it up. So that's pretty much how those ones have been running for me. I haven't had any issues getting once I went through my initial learning curve of setting up my first one. Now it takes me, I plug it in, I let it boot up, I find it on my network, and set up my configuration files and let it rip. Awesome. With that being said, if you guys want to know how to set up the configuration files a little bit differently, let me know if you're like having an issue hooking it into whatever pool you're in. Just drop a comment down below. I'll help if I can. It's kind of what I like to do. I'm a big problem solver. That's why I'm a mechanic. That's pretty much what I do on a day-to-day basis is problem solve. So if you got any questions, comments, drop them down below. Smash that like button while you're down there. And yeah, hit the subscribe button, bell notifications, so anytime I'm dropping new stuff, you guys get to see it. And with that being said, may your hash rates be high and your watts be low. And you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time.